For this, we're gonna have to work with nested families. Okay, so we're gonna need two families to achieve something like this. First, we're gonna need a family a generic model ceiling base. Okay, so that allow me to create this box. So that's going to be one family, family number one. Of course, something that I wanted to do is I want to create this in a way that this distance, the length of the actual box, can be editable. So in different projects, I can use this family and give this any actually length I want. So that will correspond to the first family. Now the second family is going to be a regular lighting fixture. Okay, so I guess we're gonna do a regular lighting fixture. It doesn't have to be a ceiling based lighting fixture. Okay, it can be a regular one, and then we're gonna bring it into this family. And once we bring it into this family, we're gonna make sure that these two families, this lighting fixture family, are locked in place. So when I change the length of my case right here, my case here on any project, my lights remain in the same position. So we're gonna have to create some parameters to get my lights into the right position and maintain that position, that relative position, no matter how long this actually case is, this box is. Okay, so two families, we're gonna nest basically a lighting fixture inside a generic model ceiling based family. Okay, let's start. Gonna make this 300 by 300 just in case, and yes, that's what I'm gonna do. So let's go back to Revit and start a new family. So we're gonna start first with the box. So the box doesn't have to be an actually lighting fixture. Generic model ceiling base is going to make the trick. Generic model ceiling base, very important. Right here. So here, open. Okay, so I'm just going to create a box here. I'm going to start it to make it initially, let's say 2 by 2. Yeah, 2 meters long. So, first let me change the unit UN, change the units, get that into millimeters. Okay, so now let's create some reference plane you can work with. 1 meter is fine. So 1 meter here, 1 meter here. Also, one side here, I can go for 150. Here, up and down. And one side here, I can actually go 5 millimeters, which is going to be the thickness of my box. 5 millimeters. So inside. Yeah, this is pretty much what I'm gonna need. Okay, once we're here, let's go for the parameters. So it's just going to create a parameter for the total length. Make sure you pick up the outside. It's 2000. I'm going to create a parameter. It's an instant parameter because I want this to move freely. Okay, I just want to give it any dimension I can imagine. So I'm gonna call this length for L. And from the parameter, I'm gonna leave everything the way it was. Only thing I want this thing to be instanced. So hit OK, and that's it. And then I'm going to control this parameter. I'm gonna make it, constrain this parameter, no control. I'm gonna constrain this parameter. Make sure everything I do just remains the center. Okay, that's great. Now next thing is I gotta make sure this is fixed. This doesn't go anywhere. So 5, gonna lock this. 5, I lock this. This is locked, this is locked, so I need to lock this. And this is locked. Okay, yeah, let's go for the height. I'm gonna go to the left view and create a reference plane of 300. So that's the ceiling. Let me see. Yeah, that's the ceiling. So I'm going to create a reference plane and I'm gonna make this 300. You can make it anything you want. You have the spec actually. Okay, great. So you do this, this, over here. So next thing, I'm gonna make sure this thing remain 300 no matter what. So lock this, and then I'm going to also pick up an additional 5 millimeters. And I want to make sure also this is 5. Okay, so now I'm ready to start working with my geometry. I can start working from here for once. I need two things, right? I need a box, and then I need a void inside the box, so I make a hollow. So to start with a box, it's going to be an extrusion. I'm going to use this rectangle right here. Make sure you lock everything. And hit OK. Let's go to the reference. Go to the ceiling. We're working on the ceiling base, and I'm going to lock this. Make sure you lock this in here, and you lock this. You gotta be to the outside, right? Yeah, you're in the outside. Okay, so let's test it. Let's see if it works. Okay, that's a very important thing to do here. Make sure this is correct. It's built correctly. So we have a length parameter. The one we create. Let's change it to 1000. Let's see my geometry goes to 1000. Yeah, it does go to 1000, and also it is center, right? Keep it center. So we are fine so far. Okay, now you can see this is just a box, so we need to hollow this. So once we put our light inside, the light also goes out. Okay, just figure out. No, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. I thought 300 is too much, but no, I think it's okay. Let's keep it like that. Okay, what I'm saying is now this is solid. We need to create we need to carve inside this box so we can put our later on our lighting fixtures, and the light can go through, right? Otherwise, if this is solid, we put the light won't escape through the solid. Okay, very important. So back to the left view, and let's create our void. Okay, so let me create a void here. Create, see a void, an extrusion. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm gonna go from the outside. Okay, just want to test something. So just go from the outside to the outside. Oh no. Sorry. That again. The inside. I need an inside to inside. Make sure everything is locked properly. I'm missing a lock for some reason. Yeah, here. There we go. Okay, so that's good. Hit apply, and now my bow is done. Let me go here. I'm gonna take it to the inside. No, to the inside. Look this. And also take this to the inside. And look the same. Okay, great. So now if you go here, this is still not void, right? It's still not hollow. So for that to happen, we need to punch a hole in the ceiling, right? We need to use the void to punch a hole in the ceiling. For that, we're going to use the cut geometry command. So select the ceiling, go cut, and then select the void. Hit the tab key to select the geometry, right? Because originally selected the extrusion, right? So now you want to use the void. Okay, so let's try it again. Okay, the problem is in here that if I did this on purpose, right? Because I want to check that. See, when I did my bow is finished right here. See, right here where the ceiling is. So that's why it's not cutting through. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my bow and I'm gonna cancel this. So I'm gonna select the bow, and I'm going to edit the extrusion. So once I edit the extrusion, I'm just going to pull it down a little bit. And now if I go here, I can see I have a hole. Yeah. So let me see if you understand what's happening here, because it's something that sometimes it will happen in Revit and you don't know why, or why it's not cutting through. Okay, so okay, so that, sorry, so this is what's happened, right? This is my ceiling, and my void is this, and this line is actually in the same place for the ceiling. So that's why when I cut, it doesn't cut. So in order to cut, for me to cut the ceiling, my void need to just go down the ceiling. Once that happens, Revit will create this. We cut the ceiling. Okay, so don't end your void right there at the same level of the ceiling, because nothing's gonna happen. The void need to go beyond the ceiling line for Revit to cut it, to be able to cut it. Okay, so let's continue. So I guess we are fine in here. We got this thing. Great. I'm gonna save this also. Okay, so my box is done. The next thing I need to do is develop the lights that are going to go inside.